Clever Adventures podcast in joint forces with World of Ability Podcast Network, opening you up to the world of travel. Hi, I'm Lori, your host of Clever Adventures podcast. Hello. So, welcome to the show, and I'm so excited that we actually have Brenda here. And so, it is great to have you. And you just got back from a trip. I'm so we'll talk about that in a little bit, but I am excited. You gave me a teaser, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. So, yeah, I'm excited to hear about that. But introduce us to you. Who are you? Where are you? What are you doing?
Well, thank you, Lori. So my name is Brenda Marie Sheldrake. I'm in Mississauga, Ontario, Canada, and I am a lead generation strategist. So what I do is I teach busy entrepreneurs how to generate more qualified leads for their business through relationship building. So no more cold calling ever again.
Ooh, I like that. I know when were on a, what was it, yesterday? Today? Yesterday. We were on a group yesterday, and that's how she found the podcast. And so I was a little nervous, but made it. You made it, and I'm really glad for that. So we are, uh, we've just been doing that, and you gave your little pitch, and I was like, oh, that's right. So I was like, yes, we get to talk on the podcast. So super excited. Glad that you're here. Glad that you made it back safe and it wasn't medically a disaster for you. But yes, I am very excited for everything that you are doing. So with that, so there's no cold calling. And with cold calling, like obviously you have to figure out where you're going to get leads. So how does that work?
So the challenge with cold calling today is cold calling is more challenging today than it has ever been. And that's because of this amazing invention that they've brought out. AI, well, AI is wonderful, but AI can be terrible. And when it comes to cold calling, AI is a roadblock because people are not sure that they're talking to you anymore. They think they might be talking to a bot, and they don't want to be sold. They don't want to be connected with something impersonal that doesn't care about them and doesn't know who they are. They want to talk to real people who can listen to and solve their real problems.
Absolutely. I know I have this is what I've learned, that if somebody is really trying to get a hold of me, if I don't answer, they will leave a voicemail if they really are trying to get a hold of me. And my phone also scans, will I have Google Fi for our phone, and so we have it has Google Assistant. Hey, this is a recorded, so I can screen people and see what it is, and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to answer that, or it will scan to see if it's like, hey, it's pre-screening everything. So there's a lot of things out there, but yeah, absolutely, AI is definitely making things a lot scarier too.
Here's a funny story about that screening feature, because Bell has that screening feature here in Canada too.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband was sick, and our doctor was doing telephone appointments as well as in-person appointments. So we could get a much quicker appointment if we took a telephone appointment. So we booked the telephone appointment. So the doctor's going to call. He's going to call after his regular clinic hours. And so he blocks his number because he's not calling from his clinic number anymore. He's calling from his own number. So he blocks his number.
Mm-hmm.
So when the phone gets the call coming in, the phone says, oh, no, this is no number we recognize. We're going to put you through all of your paces and make you prove to us that you're real. And you can start leaving a message, and then she can pick up if she wants to. And 3 times I tried to pick up, and it wouldn't allow me to pick up the call. I finally lost, like, we lost the appointment. We had to rebook again for the next day. And the doctor was not happy with us because he'd spent his time and he blocked out that time. So sometimes that stuff, as I said, sometimes it's our friend and sometimes it is definitely not.
Yeah, I've definitely scared. Here's an interesting. So we have the department with developmental disabilities, and it was screening, and I was like, "Wait, I need those. I need that call. I need that call." And so what ended up, I didn't realize that it had got put as spam, and so I ended up putting that phone number in my phone. So if they ever called back, that I would get, hopefully that it would go through because they are a number in my phone. So yeah, it's good and bad, but it definitely limits how many actual spam calls I get. So
Yeah,
yeah.
it's cut down on the number of true spam harassments, because I was getting to anywhere from 2 to 5 of those in a morning, and it's definitely cut down on the number of those coming in. So most of the time I'm grateful that it's there, but
Yeah.
you've got the odd time when it's something you really want and
Mhm.
it's just not happening.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. All right. So back to our leads. So where do these, like, so we don't have to worry about AI and taking over our voice or anything, and we're a real person. So where are these leads?
So the leads, actually, that reminds me of a line from a movie that I saw once, Lori, because the leads are exactly where they always were. The leads are all around us.
Mm-hmm.
There are people all around you who want your help. They they want to get on podcasts. They want to know how to be able to talk on the Clever podcast. They're looking for more podcasts that meet their themes, but they
Mm-hmm.
don't know how to find you.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the keys is to get more people talking about Clever Adventure Podcast and telling all their friends this podcast is one of the best podcasts. Lori's doing some of the most cutting edge. I was watching you at the beginning of this, Lori. You're doing some of the, I'm sure, some of the most cutting edge stuff that anybody is doing. Plus, we're live on I don't even know how many places, and I'm a little scared to ask because that would probably make me nervous. But you're doing all of these things. More people need to know that this is out there. And the way that we do that is when I get off this podcast, I'll be telling all of my friends and clients, go check out Clever Adventures podcast, listen to my episode if you missed it live, and then I can connect you with Lori and you can do an episode of your own. I know she probably wants more guests.
Yeah. Yeah, it's looking like we're probably gonna have to add an episode every week. I've got to get through summer with my kids because obviously I work from home. So when my kids are home, we survive. Let's face it, we survive, right? But yeah, like I'm probably, like, it's looking like in August that we're really going to probably have to start doing an episode every week, just because I've got people want to come on, and I love having people on, and it's been great conversations and getting to know more people, and absolutely, yeah. And I love, um and like I you by the way, you have your own page. I don't know if you saw that yet, but you have your own page on my website, lcleveradventures.com, and you have your own page under show, and it's got all of your links. So anybody that is like, oh my gosh, I need to get together with Brenda, guess what? You just go to lcleveradventures.com, and under show, you will see her information. So um, that's really exciting, and you can see all the previous episodes too. Right now, we are currently live on YouTube, and we are currently live on the LinkedIn event. So we are we have some ways, and then obviously the replays will be available. And so, yeah, absolutely. That's a lot of my business has been growing by word of mouth, because with understanding disabilities, and it's like, oh my gosh, I have to tell you about this person, or oh my gosh, I have to tell you about this person, or oh, do that. And so that's really how I've grown a lot of my business for disability travel, is because people are like, it's opening your mouth, right? It's being willing to talk to somebody. So here's something that you probably will never, something that I never would have expected. So my kids, we participate in an organization called Miracle League. Love the organization, amazing. And because in Arizona we have spring training, so if you are a baseball fan, we have spring training. And before spring training even started, before even like the pitchers and catchers, and they're the first ones to report, before they even had to report, the Miracle League did a like skills clinic. And my kids, they hit the ball and run. That's what they do in their recreational Miracle League. And they run around in the outfield. They don't play catch. Like it's not like, it is, how fast can my 6-year-old run and tire out his buddy? Like it's just crazy. So one thing that I learned in another company that I was a part of was that you should never be like, you can't, why are you afraid of a no, right? Why are you afraid of a no? And so it was like an opposite challenge, like how many no's can you get, not how many yeses, how many no's do you get, right? And so there were two Arizona Diamondback players that when they were playing for the Diamondbacks, my parents had season tickets. And so I spent a lot of time. And so I was totally fangirling. Like, I was like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, that's who that person is. I was so excited. And so at the end of the event, I had business cards, right? And I was like, hey, if anything comes out of this, great. If not, but I wanted to, for my own self-confidence, say that I had the guts to walk up to one that was on the World Series team, and multiple World Series champions from different teams all over. And I gave them my business card, and I will never know, at least right now, I don't know if anything will ever happen out of it, but I took the guts, and I love that like sharing everything, and that is awesome. Absolutely.
So one of the things that I teach people, Lori, that makes things like that, situations like that, easier. Maybe not in person, because in person you've got to just make the decision, and you got to walk up and you got to hand them the business card, and kudos to you. But when you're trying virtually, when you're on social media, when you're on your LinkedIn and you see that person. So going back to the person you handed your business card to, if you wanted to circle back to him, a way to make it easier, because if you just message him on LinkedIn, his gatekeepers are going to catch the message first, right? You don't know if he'll ever see it or not. But what we do is we teach that you connect with somebody who isn't as high up, who is more the everyday person, but somebody who actually knows that person. So, for example, if I knew, now I'll admit shyly, but I'll admit I don't know much about baseball. So I would never know these people. But if, say, I knew this baseball player, you and I are connected, you would say to me, Brenda, I'm really trying to meet this baseball player. Would you be willing to do an introduction for me? And maybe you said to me, I'd like to get him on my podcast. Well, I'm going to think, hey, that's a great reason. I want to support Lori's podcast more. So then I reach out to the baseball player and I say, hey, got my friend Lori. You met her once a while ago. I don't know if you remember or not. She gave you her business card that day. But Lori's doing a podcast now, and she'd really like to have you on her podcast.
Oh my gosh.
And if by any chance you're out there right now, this very minute, watching this podcast, I'm sure Lori would really like to have you on her podcast.
Yes.
So remember getting Lori's business card.
Yeah.
Why don't you reach out and connect with her and come on this podcast and bring your message here. And when you do an introduction, then it makes it easier. It breaks the ice because we do it in a three-way chat. So then you just say hi, just like you're talking to a friend, and you can go into what it is you're looking for as far as help.
Oh my goodness, I love that. I love that. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing.
It takes away a lot of the fear. It takes away a lot of the overwhelm. It takes away a lot of, what if they say no? Well, if you think maybe they're talking to their best friend right now, because we do genuine relationships. We don't do, oh, I know their name and I've read everything about them. It's a genuine relationship. You have a connection to this person. And then you can get the introductions that you're looking for. So people don't say no to the people. How often do you say no to your best friend, Lori?
Not usually.
Yeah, if the kids needed you, if your best friend was asking you to do something and the kids needed you, I'm sure that you would have to say no in that situation. Yeah. But in most cases, you probably. So if your best friend called you up and said, Lori, I met this girl and I think she'd be great for your podcast, but you've never met her and you don't know anything about her. Would you be willing to take a chance on her based on the fact that I think that she'd be great for your show?
Yeah. Absolutely.
So that brings more people to your show, but it can bring more people to anything, because here's another tip. And this is especially for the people listening from LinkedIn. I challenge everyone who's listening from LinkedIn to stop looking for your ideal, and please listen to the whole message. Stop looking for your ideal client on LinkedIn and start looking for other people who help your ideal client in different ways. I brokered a $3,000 deal by doing this because I helped to bring together people who all served seniors in a specific area, but they served them in different ways, and they were looking for more clients.
Yeah. Wow.
More people, looking for more people to watch the show. One of them was a realtor who was looking to sell more properties. But I brought the deal together.
Yeah.
So if you stop looking, you can look for one ideal client, you can look for that one unicorn, or you can look for the whole garden that is the food that the unicorn eats. You look for the garden, you're going to find more unicorns because they come there to eat food.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, disability travel is very, very, you've got to, 1 in 4 people have some type of a disability, and a lot of them are unseen. You wouldn't know that my kids have autism until you watch them for a little bit, and then if you know enough about it, then you'd be like, oh yeah, they have autism. And then or you don't always know that somebody's deaf, or you don't know if somebody has anxiety or depression or any of those, because they just look like you and me. They just look like a human being, right? They look like a person. So yeah, it's who do you know, and who do you know that they don't know, that we can build those relationships. I love that.
And here's another really special message around that, because I work with people with disabilities as well. And there's a product here in Canada that's available. It's the government will give thousands of dollars to people with disabilities, especially anybody who's listening to this, especially people with low incomes. But don't let anybody trick you who tells you that you have to pay them in order.
Clever Adventures Podcast, in joint forces with World of Ability Podcast Network, opening you up to the world of travel. Hi, I'm Lori, your host of Clever Adventures.
Uh-oh, I'm back.
Okay. I was wait a minute, this isn't what's supposed to happen.
So what I was saying was, don't let anybody trick you into buying something, into paying money for a product, because you can get these products for free.
Mhm.
So when I first heard about them, I started trying to tell people about them. And what happened was, and you can probably attest to this, Lori, there are a lot of people out there who try to take advantage of people who have disabilities, who say they have the golden bullet, they can solve the magic pill, they can solve autism, they can fix your kids, they can make them do great things in school, they can whatever, 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 whatever. All the magic pills. But
Mhm.
sometimes you buy the magic pill and the magic pill turns out to be a candy pill instead.
Mhm.
So eventually, and this is true of people with disabilities, this is true with people who don't have disabilities,
Mhm.
eventually we become skeptical about whether or not we believe in what they're saying.
Mhm.
So what I had happening was I'd say, I can get you free money from the government. And they would say, if this were true,
Right.
my accountant would know. If this were true, my bookkeeper would know. If this were true, the government would tell me. And I was like, but really, I've got books here. Look at this book. This book is from the government. Read the book. And they'd go, no, thank you. And they would walk away. And I felt so dejected that I wasn't able to help the people that really meant the most to me.
Mhm.
And one day I met somebody who said to me, stop trying to sell your solution. People are tired of being sold to.
Mhm.
It's true for every market. This is true for every business. People are tired of being sold to if you didn't first find out whether they have the problem at all.
Mhm. Yeah.
And when you go through a referral type basis, so then I started, when I finally started helping people, I would help one family, and that family would say to the other, like, your kids play baseball. Maybe there are some other kids on the team who have disabilities as well. So you would say to their parents, hey, I just discovered this great product. Have you heard about it?
Mhm.
I haven't heard about it. But if you believe in it, it must be true, Lori, because you have kids with disabilities. If you think it's that great. So then
Mhm.
you say, well, let me introduce you to Brenda, and Brenda will tell you more about it. I don't know whether it'll work for you or not, but
Mhm.
let me introduce you to Brenda. Well, then the person's door is open,
Mhm.
and it keeps the door held open. It's still my job to sell my product,
Mhm.
but you've opened the door for me, which
Yeah.
is something that can be very challenging at times.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I've essentially so I had a motorcycle accident about 5 weeks ago, and my face was flat. Like I broke my nose. I still have a little bit of a hematoma here. You can kind of see, like I looked like one of those like Star Trek characters that had like just a flat face. Like, yeah. And so had to have surgery on my nose, and I had a lot of swelling and stuff. And so I had a friend that had done the LifeWave patches, and I was taking a picture every single day because I was like, well, this is supposed to help with stem cells and healing and all of that stuff. And I ended up like I was almost completely healed, like not at least externally looking, but not internally, in like 2 weeks. And people are like, wait, what? So yeah, that's, and so I've had people talk to me about it like, oh, how did you do this? And how did you do that? Or, oh my gosh, I saw your pictures. I never would have believed it. I'm like, neither would have I, but it's these things. And so it's things like that, that, open that door. I love that. And it's things, some of those things I've kind of already been doing, but it's making it realize like, oh yeah, you need to be doing this for X, Y, and Z too. So, who are the people that, so like, I guess, who is your ideal client, or who are the people that you want to help?
So I have a philosophy. I have a mission, actually. I have a mission. My mission is that no entrepreneur go out of business because they don't have the tips, tools, and strategies that they need in order to survive in business. So it can be really challenging. We have a lot of people out there. There are a lot of people, I'm sure there are a lot of people listening to this right now who pivoted from a job, maybe not by choice. The company was downsized, or in this economy, the doors just closed. They had to find something else, and somebody told them, "You're really good at XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you start a business and teach other people XYZ?" So they said, "Okay, that sounds right. I'm really good at it. Why don't I do that?" They started their business, but nobody told them, "You have to know how to keep your books, or the government's going to come after you. You have to
Mm-hmm.
know how to order your supplies, or you're going to get taken advantage of for pricing. You have to, I don't know, you have to know how to do social media, or your message isn't going to get out there. You have to understand AI, or else all the things that they're selling right now, you're not going to be
Yeah,
able
and
to."
marketing, and you have to be a master of marketing, and yeah, absolutely.
So now my mission is that you're never alone. I teach you lead generation through relationship building, but I don't just build relationships with me. I'm helping you to build relationships with all the experts that you need to stay in business. So if you pivoted, if you started a newer business, or if you're one of those people who's been in business for a while, but we can trust you, then I want to meet you because I want to share you. I want to showcase you. I want to spotlight you. And I want to let the world know that
Mm-hmm.
you're there to help other people. And if you need the help, it's great. And it's time to ask.
Absolutely, absolutely. It's we want to help everybody, right? We want to go out and help people, but it's really hard to swallow our pride and say, "Oh my gosh, I need help."
And one
And
of you mentioned one of the groups, kind of, sort of, you mentioned one of the groups earlier. One of the groups I really like helping are those people who have been told to go for no.
mm-hmm.
Because after a while, even if you've been told to go for no, after a while, that no feels like, okay, so how many times do I have to hear no? I told you my story of when I started working with people with disabilities. How
Mm-hmm.
many times do I have to hear no before I'm
You
going to
get
hear
the
yes?
yes.
So, working with those people, I can show you some other ways to do it
Mm-hmm.
so that maybe we can get you a step closer to the yes.
Yeah, yeah. Well, and I think sometimes with that, I would be like, they're obviously going to say no. So if the challenge is to get so many no's, I'm just going to pick them, or I'm just going to, I'm going to talk to them because I want the no. So it's, you can also like set yourself up for success by not actually going after quality people too.
Yes.
So it's things like that. It's, where are you mentally? Where are you? All of those things. So yeah, absolutely. I understand and I agree. I love everything that you're doing. This is an amazing thing.
And this also applies to people who've been told that the best strategy is to talk to all your friends and family, right? Talk to all your friends and family, tell them what they're
Mm-hmm.
doing. Now, what they're really saying to you is talk to your friends and family, tell them what you're doing to see who they know who might be interested. But if your friends and family, if you've been in a number, if you maybe you've tried a number of different things, so your friends and family have already heard about three different things.
Mm-hmm.
Or in my case, I went from working in a community health center to being in financial services. And when I talked to my friends and family, they said, "You don't balance your own checkbook. Why would I give you control of my finances?"
Mm-hmm.
And so you need people who can see you in a different way. And the
Mm-hmm.
easiest way to get to those people is to get one person to see you in a different way,
Mm-hmm.
and then have them introduce you to the next person who
Mm-hmm.
will then see you in a different way. And it just makes it so much easier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things with travel agents is, well, I can just book it myself, or I've done a lot of travel. And I agree that people are very capable of doing that. Um, it's just the struggle of, well, you're already paying for commission, and the commission goes back to that company if you book yourself, which is fine. Totally get it. But if you book through a travel, you're at least supporting that person and that small, that small business and that family or in your local community or their community or whatever, because obviously they're gonna to do that. And so, yeah, absolutely. Because I've talked to my family and they're like, "Oh, we use points." I'm like, okay, I can't compete with that. So
I'd like to share something even more important about using a travel agent, Lori.
okay.
This is my experience from my last 2 trips.
Oh boy.
We always book with a travel agent. She is an amazing lady and she takes care of every detail. But when we traveled this time, my husband's getting a little older, and my husband said, I don't know if this is true in the United States, but this is in Canada. I read that when you're 70, you can ask for a wheelchair and they have to provide it for you. And the travel agent checked, and the travel agent came back and she said, yes, that's accurate. And he said, now I live just outside the Toronto airport, but the Toronto airport is a very, very big airport. If you've never been there, it's huge. You can get so lost so quick.
Yeah.
So she reached out, she made all the arrangements. They met us at the door. We walked through the door of the Toronto airport. They met us at the door with the wheelchair. He got into the wheelchair. Now he legitimately can't walk very far right now. So legitimately he needed a wheelchair. He wasn't abusing it.
Yeah.
But if you're 70 years old and you've got to walk from one end of Toronto airport to the other end, almost all of you, I love you people. I know that there's some amazingly fit seniors out there, and some of you are more fit than me, but almost all of you could use that wheelchair to get there on time to not miss your flight. Now, if I was trying to do that, to arrange that all, maybe I could have done it, maybe not. But my travel agent took care of every detail, every step of the way. And when it came time to come back, we didn't see the little line on the ticket. There was no little line that said that a wheelchair was being provided for the return trip. And so I reached out to my travel agent. I said, we're not seeing it. She got on the phone immediately. Now, I didn't have to take time from my last couple of days of my vacation. She got on the phone immediately. She made all of the phone calls. She got back to us with a text message. It's all arranged. Everything is going to be fine. And if there isn't one there, you just let me know. We had door-to-door service both ways. So my husband didn't have to feel like he was slowing down the group. He didn't have to struggle or make himself or risk falling down and hurting himself. That's just one example. 2 years ago, I was going to Edmonton, to Edmonton for a book launch. No, Vancouver. Sorry. I was going to Vancouver for a book launch, and my husband wasn't able to go with me. I don't travel by myself usually, so he worries a lot about me. Now, this was a really short trip. It was there and back. I was staying 1 day and flying home, but I called the travel agent anyway, and I said, I know this isn't really worth your time. I know you don't make much money from booking a hotel, but would you help me with this? No problem, Brenda. She took care of the whole thing. Not only did she book my whole trip, she found out from me where I was speaking, where the speaking engagement was. She made sure that the hotel I was staying in was in close proximity so I wouldn't have a high taxi bill. She let me know how to go from the airport to the hotel. She covered everything. And on the way back, when I got to the airport and the flight was overbooked and they asked for volunteers to stay in Vancouver an extra day, I thought, great bonus. They're giving me money for staying in Vancouver. I'll say yes to it. I can afford to do it. I messaged her just to let her know I was staying in Vancouver an extra day. She said, they can't do that. Your seat is booked. Everything's locked in. They can't make you do that. We clarified, and I let her know that I had said no, it was okay. But she said, if you don't want to do it, I can get online right now. And there's no way. They have to give you a seat. Your seat was confirmed. So if you don't want to have to worry about all these little things, if you don't want to have to, if something goes wrong, if you don't want to have to make sure that you don't miss a detail,
Hmm.
work with a travel agent. You are never going to do it as well as a travel agent does it, because it's the travel agent's job.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
And I
Yeah.
think with what you do, Lori, with helping with disability travel, I think that needs to be shouted from the rooftops more,
Hmm.
because I think there are people out there who have children with autism and don't know, they're afraid to go on the plane because they're afraid that there might be a scene, or there might be too much noise, or something's going to go wrong. They're afraid to go to the places that they want to go, and they're missing out on some opportunities that they would really like to enjoy, or they're not
It's just too
ambulance
hard,
or
or
just
it's just too hard. Like the extra research that goes into it, like all of those things, and like, is there, there's sensory rooms in a lot of airports, at least in the US. I need to do a little bit more digging outside of the US, but it's where, there's sensory rooms, and there's organizations that can have their staff get trained and all of those things. And so yeah, I do all of that. I formally got my certified autism travel professional certificate. So it was, honestly, I missed one question, and I had it done in 5 minutes, and they give you 30. I was like, I just know, because it's my life. Like, I get it, but there's a lot of people with disabilities that they don't want to travel because they're like, it's going to be too hard. It's going to be too hard. We have food allergies. How are we going to eat? Where can we eat? What are we going to do? And so I've had a lot of people be like, we just don't travel.
and
And
giving them tips because you've been there, because you had the experience. Maybe I don't know, maybe headsets would help better on the plane because there's so much different kinds of noise. Maybe your child would function better with a headset. I've met some children who do in just regular settings, so maybe it would help on a plane. But you would have more of those ideas. You would have,
mhm,
and you'd be able to say to her, you know, like, should I show up at the airport? Like, we show up at the airport usually 4 or 5 hours before our flight. But maybe you say to a mom, maybe you say, don't go 5 hours ahead, because it's that unfamiliar situation, unfamiliar
mhm,
surroundings, all that stuff going on.
yeah,
Overstimulation.
yeah. And we have airports or airlines a lot now are, you know, there's the what is it? The mental disability. And so you can say there's a disability. Do you need someone to escort you through and all of that? And I don't know what it is in Canada, but our airport security, when you get through security, that's the TSA, you can request someone to escort a TSA employee to escort you through, so you have that extra support and all of those things. And so yeah, absolutely. I've done a lot of research, and there's things that I never would have known had I not been a travel agent.
Yeah.
And so we've got to share those things. Absolutely.
And I guarantee, for the people who are watching this, I guarantee that if you go to book a trip and you're going to do it yourself, you're going to miss at least one of those things.
Hmm.
And what if you think, okay, I'm not worried about any of those things. Here's another way to look at it. What if Lori knows a way to save you money
Hmm.
on your trip that you would never even have thought of? Because I know my travel agent has pointed out some of those things to us as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's usually travel agents get better deals, and they are willing to give better deals to travel agents than the general public, because they know the travel agent will send them back. So yeah, absolutely. And there's lots of organizations that actually don't work with the general public. You have to go through a travel agent to use them. So there's those companies too. So yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So we're getting close on time, because as soon as we finish here, I usually have to go pick up my children. Do you have any other questions for me?
Um, I have one big question, Lori.
Okay.
When are we going to book a slot so that I can have you on my show to interview you and showcase all of these amazing gifts that you have?
Well, then I guess I need the link to sign up. And it's got to be after Saturday. I have a wedding. My best friend is getting married. So I'm the maid of honor. And I'm like, I got to get through this weekend. Let me get through this weekend and then we can figure everything else is fine. Just let me survive the next 3 days. So yeah, absolutely. I would love to be on your podcast.
Fabulous. Fabulous.
Yes.
And I guess one other question that I would have for you.
Mm-hmm.
When do you have any recommendations? Sometimes people feel self-conscious about disclosing their invisible disabilities,
Mm-hmm.
but those disabilities still make it really challenging to do some things.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any tips for those people?
So there's different programs. Like there's the sunflower lanyard for airports to say, hey, there's somebody with a disability. But if you don't know what a sunflower lanyard is, like the purpose of that, sometimes, so the people that need to know what this is are able to. And, you know, if you're disclosing things, there's also, like in the US, we have HIPAA, so that your Health Privacy Act. And so it's not like I'm going to be like, oh, like, I have a client that has a disability, and disability can look different for every person, right? So like whether it's anxiety, whether it's depression, PTSD. And so, working with a travel agent, like I can put has a mental disability, but it doesn't say which one. It doesn't say anxiety, depression, PTSD, and X, Y, and Z. It doesn't say that. It just says, hey, this person needs extra assistance. So sometimes, asking for that assistance, they're not going to ask you why, and you don't have to tell them why, but you have just requested that assistance for the airport. You can also, like, there's other organizations that are like, hey, we want to do like a visual tour. And you can, we can do that or look at lots of different things. And so, I think it's sharing the minimum, or being willing to say, hey, I'm going to tell this one person and they're going to advocate for me, or I'm going to take this person for me so they could advocate for me. And, you need somebody to advocate for you. Like I am my kids' biggest advocate with their education and everything that we've done. And that's why I can't work a traditional JOB, Journey of the Broke, is what I've heard. But like, because my kids' schedules and they've done therapies and all of that stuff, like I need the flexibility that being a travel agent gives me for that, because my kids' schedules are crazy. Like I can tell you in the morning, my morning hours of being full-time mom, I have my after school hours, and then I have some time where I'm a little bit more flexible. But you need somebody that can be an advocate for you. So if you're willing to step out of the comfort zone and be your own advocate, absolutely, and make sure that you have those skills and that you're comfortable with that. If not, have someone travel with you and say, hey, I need you to be my advocate. I need you to, like, hey, can we get this? Or hey, can ask for things. And I think it also is a confidence builder to say, hey, I need help, or asking individuals for help. Because we don't always like to, but sometimes if you don't ask for help, you're not going to get a solution.
Yeah, that's thank you. That's I think that's really important for people to know, because sometimes we let embarrassment or fear or discomfort, especially fear, right? We let fear stand in our way, and it holds us back from doing something that we really want to do, or someplace we really want to go.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my kids, before we found out that my oldest was autistic, he would have a meltdown, and I was just thought it was a meltdown, didn't realize it was overstimulation. And I was like, you can throw the fit, that's fine. I'm still getting the stuff that I need to in the store. I'll just throw you over my shoulder like a sack of potatoes, and we're keeping going. And there's a lot of negative stigma because there's people out there that are like, I don't care. This is how things are supposed to be. But yeah, it's what are you comfortable with? What are you willing to do? And not be, and being willing to ask for help and advocating for yourself. Absolutely. So, well, Brenda, it has been an absolute amazing talk. We definitely went way over our 30 minutes that I usually try and stick around. We're closer to 45, but it has been a very, very educational conversation. So thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Lori, and I can't wait to see your next episodes.
Yes, absolutely. So go make sure that everyone is liking, sharing, and following. You can repost and make sure that you are following along and sharing this out. So thank you, everyone, for watching, and we will see you at the